Drudder here, February 1st, 2019. I cover a lot of topics that are often the subject of censorship, including conspiracies. As I said about a decade ago, one who hypothesizes about, proposes an explanation for, and attempts to understand or discover an evil, unlawful, or treacherous secret plan. If that's the definition, and dictionary.com tells us that it is, I'm proud to call myself a conspiracy theorist. More than 5 years ago, I was called paranoid, and worse, for detecting and describing what we now know as shadow banning. My 420th video called Don't Legalize Cannabis, and what I wanted to say about that today is that overnight that video got about 1,100 views. When I got up this morning it was about 1,100, and that's one of the most viewed videos I've had in a long time. Usually I get maybe a few hundred overnight and then about 1,000 over the following weeks. This one got 1,100 in the first night, and then something weird happened. It hasn't received any more views since then. Well, about 150 more views since this morning, which is absolutely atypical for a video that got 1,100 views in its first 8 hours. So something is weird with that. This was going viral, essentially. This could have got 5,000-10,000 views or more, and now it doesn't look like that is going to happen. And then simultaneously, over on CNN, the mainstream media is telling us that support for legalization, not freedom, but legalization, which is government control, is growing and growing and growing, and saying that the public is driving this push to legalize cannabis. They say that support for the legalization movement is coming from the public. It's not. It's coming from the media. The media is flogging legalization. The government wants legalization because that's how they're going to control it. They know they can't keep it illegal. The people have woken up, but what they can do is legalize it, which gives them 100% of the control and revenue. Normally the views for a typical video, especially on my channel, would go something like this. In the first while you get the most number of views, and then over time that starts to even out, and then you get less and less per unit time, and then it'll just flatten out like that and then just slowly go up over time from there. But what happened in this case was, after just a very few short hours, the view count tapered off and has barely added any more since then. So something appears to have happened there. I know that there's censorship on YouTube. It's not some conspiracy theory or whatever. It does happen on YouTube. People have proven it. And I've seen it happening. And I know that there's something going on with my channel because I used to be able to go viral with videos. I used to have videos that would get, 5, 10, then, hundreds of thousands of views sometimes. Now when I do a video, it's almost always the same. It just goes up to like 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, and then it evens off and that's it. Something's different about YouTube in the past couple of years. I don't know if my channel specifically has been flagged and put into a certain category that makes it harder for my videos to get recognized or be shared or be shown around. I don't know. But, I don't complain about this because I care about the views. I'm not trying to get to a certain number of views or anything like that. But I do care about censorship, and I think it's a real problem. And when you're involved in alternative media, you have to come up against censorship sometimes, and you have to mention it. You have to point it out when it happens. So, it's happening to me, and I'm just pointing it out. I was right. This week, YouTube announced they're doing exactly what I could tell was happening to my channel years ago. So I was right again. Why is shadow banning such a big deal? It's a huge problem because I'm right about a lot of very important issues, like Fukushima, gold and silver manipulation, censorship and shadow banning, the surveillance state, weather modification, Monsanto causing cancer, the fraud of cannabis legalization in Canada, Bitcoin, etc. Lives are at stake. Censorship can literally kill people, millions of people even. It's no joke. So please exercise your right to free speech. Don't just believe in it, exercise it. And support other people that do the same. A major method conspirators use to keep their plot hidden is to discredit the theorists. As the theorists work to uncover the truth, the conspirators might attack their methods, background, even motives. Another method is to ignore accusations altogether, such as with many governments' refusal to discuss ideas of this nature. But recently there's a disturbing new method to discredit theorists, by simply labeling them mentally ill. Beside the fact that having a mental illness doesn't make a person necessarily less reputable, this tactic is certainly a disgusting one. Members of the media, governments, banks, corporations, and pop culture regularly joke about conspiracy theorists, to the delight of the drooling, insensate masses. To be called a conspiracy theorist today is to be called paranoid at best, and criminally insane at worst. The conspiracy theorist label is seen with the utmost of contempt. Simply by being given this label, your opinion no longer matters, and any information you have is automatically reduced to paranoid rubbish, to be forgotten, or better yet, never even looked at in the first place. It's now impossible to maintain one's standing in society while openly admitting that conspiracies actually occur. Oh sure, the ones that have come to light because they were seen to fruition, and the ones uncovered by theorists, those were real. Dozens of conspiracies that were once secretive and unknown are now household names. Those were all legit. But those were the only ones. It just doesn't happen. They've all been uncovered, and there's no more secret plots. Wait, you're one of those crazy conspiracy theorists, aren't you? LOL, OMG.
I'm aware that there's still some who would question or even justify the offense of 9/11.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories concerning the attacks of September the 11th.
And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit.